Welcome back to my channel. This is Ben Morales, your personal financial coach. I teach you how to more quickly and efficiently pay off debt so that you can do things like build wealth, take your family on vacation, feel free, easier to sleep at night, all that good stuff. So welcome back. This is a follow-up video to a previous video I did. In that video, I showed how I work with a client to help her more quickly, efficiently pay off her car loan. She, like a lot of people, is younger in her earlier career, and she did get into some student loan debt as well as some vehicle debt and some credit card debt. So that happens to be the life of a lot of young adults right now. But thankfully, we were able to find an easier path, a more quicker and more efficient path for her to be able to get her out of her car loan. And so we did that utilizing her credit card. But with this strategy today, we're actually going to use a personal line of credit. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're actually going to tackle her full amount of debt. We're going to do it in chunks. Okay. Her total amount is $36,994.23. Okay. So immediately we were able, just by making a quick adjustment, we eliminated her Discover and Old Navy credit cards. We took some money from her savings account and applied it to those credit cards so that we can increase her cash flow, which at the time was $441.75, by $73, bringing it to $514.75. Now what we did, we actually are going to be eliminating the $454 payment that she has for her vehicle. And we're going to do that by eliminating the amount that is owed, utilizing the new debt tool, which is that personal line of credit. So right now, personal line of credit, most of them are starting to see a little bit of a drop because the interest rates are dropping. So you have to do your research, be diligent in using your research. If you're in a position where you find yourself, you're trying to pay off debt, and like this client, you have different types of debt: car loan, student loan, credit card loan. This strategy is perfect, or can be perfect, as long as you do your homework and find the right kind of debt weapon tool. So in this example, what we're doing is we're utilizing a personal line of credit. Now, because she has good enough credit, and I say that because if you find yourself in that place where you're paying down debt, you may have to work on fixing your credit a little bit to get it strong enough to where you're able to apply for a personal line of credit. This scenario, she has really good credit. There should be no reason why. She has decent enough income, and we're going to be able to get her a $20,000 line of credit, personal line of credit, at a 10% interest. I've seen them, just by doing the research, I've seen them anywhere between 9 and as high as 13%. Credit unions, if you go through a bank, you could do one as well. Typically, the limits may be a little bit lower and the interest rates might be a little bit higher, but we're going to be chunking payments, okay? When we get rid of her car loan, now she's going to have an additional $454 worth back into her cash flow, bringing her new cash flow up to $968.75. So just right there, she's making ground that's going to be able to have something for her to be able to leverage. So right away, we're going to eliminate the $14,601 from the car loan. You see that there. And now, typically, right, we bank at a banking institution. We put our funds when we get direct deposit, and we leave it in our checking account. They don't do that. From the checking account, then we start paying different kind of bills: credit card bills, student loans, rent, right? Different things like that. Well, what if instead of just leaving that money in the bank, we put it to use for ourselves? And that's what we're doing. And that's why you see this here. For $3,318 of income, well, obviously she's going to be doing this a couple of times a month when she gets paid. But essentially, the entire amount of that income is going to be going back into the pay down the $14,601 that she took as a chunk payment from the line of credit, right? Remember, we don't have the car payment anymore. All we have is the $14,601 reflecting from the line of credit. Her income is coming in now. So because she still has expenses, regular everyday expenses, one of the things that did happen, her expenses are $2,349.25, which is this plus the student loans that she still has. She still has two student loan payments, so we have to include that as well, which will bring down her to her monthly expenses to $2,349.25. Now, the nice thing about a personal line of credit, like all lines of credit, whether it's a credit card or a HELOC, or in this case, a PLOC, anytime we use that, first of all, we only pay interest on the portion that we use, number one. Secondly, the interest that we do pay is paid on an average daily balance, meaning there's a calculation, right? You take the interest rate amount, you multiply it by the balance that you owe. You divide it by $365. That's going to give you 365 days. I'm sorry. That's going to give you your daily interest rate. So we see here, when we include back her expenses, we see that we are going to have a balance of $13,632.25. So that's $3.73 of daily interest. And just to make these real simple, right? I know some months have 30, some months have 31, but we calculated at 30 days of interest. All right, so we have to put that interest back, but look at where she's at in month one. Okay, making ground just by that simple move right there. In the following month, we're going to do the same thing. She's going to take the $3,318 she's receiving in income, apply it to paying down the balance of the $14,601 that she took out, bringing her down to $10,426.15. Expenses are going to be calculated. Here's the interest rate, okay, based off of the new balance, which is $105 for that particular month. So she's ending month number 2 at $1,288 or $12,880.40. Okay. Now we're going to rinse and repeat one more time. Her income is going in, her expenses are coming out. We calculate the balances. It's actually $97.80. I know you may not be able to see that on the screen, but long story short, all we're doing is a pattern of rinse and repeat, right? Income is coming in, expenses going out. We're calculating the daily balances. Income coming in, expenses going out, calculating the daily interest. One more time, income coming in, expenses going out. And before you know it, lo and behold, just doing this in a rinse and repeat cycle, right? Living life, nothing out of the ordinary, still making the payments, still having the monthly expenses that she has, and still just filtering her funds now through the line of credit, no longer leaving that in the bank where it's doing nothing for her. So in this case, she's able to get this particular part of the $36,000 paid off in just 13 months, which is absolutely phenomenal. That's going to allow her now to begin the process of paying off her student loans. So we are going to take a look at just that. I'm going to draw it out for you. We're going to see exactly how much longer it's going to take her to finish and completely be out of debt instead of the 4 years. I believe we'll be able to do it a lot sooner. She wanted 2.5 years to pay off her car loan. We just did it in 13 months. And she wanted to be completely paid off for her student loans in 4 years. So we're going to erase the numbers and get the portion of the student loans listed up. And we're going to see exactly how long it's going to take her to complete that portion of her debt as well. All right, welcome back. And now we're going to continue to pay off her debt, but we're going to tackle now the student loan debt. Remember, she wanted to pay off her car loan in 2.5 years. We were able to do that in 13 months. Now we're going to start tackling the student loan debt. She still has some debt. When we started the process, she had $11,685 in one loan, and then she had $9,067 in her second loan. But remember, all the while she was paying off her car loan, she was continuing to make student loan payments as well, and that was actually part of her current expenses. Now we're going to eliminate student loan number 2. We're going to be eliminating $101. And then what I did is, because it took about 13 months to finish paying the car loan, during that 13-month cycle, she was still making payments to that student loan. So she's going to have roughly a balance of $8,067. So that's the payments that she made plus the interest at 6.08. And this is the results of that. So we see student loan number 1. We're going to rinse and repeat the same process that we did to pay off her vehicle. $3,318 of income is going to be going back into the debt tool, the personal line of credit. She took a chunk of the $8,067 to eliminate the first student loan. And that is going to also cause her, because now she's not making $101 to the student loan, it's actually coming back to her directly. It's increasing her cash flow from 968 by $101. She now has a new cash flow of $1,069.75. Her expenses is also going down. And when we look at that, now we calculate the daily interest by 30 days, 1.9, because we're basically taking the 10% on a personal line of credit, and that's the advantage of using a personal line of credit. The interest, again, is paid on an average daily balance. That's what we see right there. So these are the interests. And then month number one, she's going to end at $7,054.85. Rinse and repeat. Income goes in, expenses go out. Here's the interest rate calculated. Month number two, where she's at, we're going to continue the balance, expenses, income going in, expenses coming out, and this is the interest. So we can see that in 3 months, her new balance is $4,987.35. We continue down, income, expenses, interest. Now, this point I do want to point out, because at the end of month number 3, or rather month number 4, she can, right? If she decides she wanted to take some additional funds out of her savings and finish with this $3,949.70 balance, she could absolutely do that. She could definitely do that. However, for the sake of this strategy, right, and continuing to show that and keeping the budget as true as possible, you can see that after she makes the payment and she starts the next month, she only has a balance of $631.70 left. So we're going to go ahead and continue with her expenses. We're going to calculate what the interest rate is for that month. And then at the beginning of month number 5 and at the end of month number 5, when she gets those pays in, she's going to absolutely be able to liquidate and finish off with loan number 1 in 5 months. Okay. Now we're going to go do the same thing with loan number 2. Get rid of loan number 2. I calculated, right, 13 months payments. At the time, she owed $11,685. So I calculated 13 months worth of payments. That's going to bring her to about $10,000 left as a balance. What we're going to do is rinse and repeat. It's not complicated. That's why you see a lot of people talk about how difficult this strategy is. It's really not difficult. It's, again, I keep saying this, how you borrow money is more important than the amount of borrow you borrow. The amount of money you borrow, rather, how you're charged for it. So $6,682 is her new balance. Expenses now, if you can see what happened here. Well, her new expenses after paying off the new loan was $1,069.75, but now we've increased that by $106 because she's no longer making that $106 payment to that second student loan. So it's coming back to her actually. So what's happening now is her cash flow, boom, is going up. So that's the power of this strategy. You're eliminating debt, you're increasing your cash flow. You're also lowering your expenses. So her expenses now are $2,142.25, which is also lowering the amount of interest that you're going to be paying over the long term. So expenses going out, interest being calculated, month 1. We repeat, income coming in, expenses going out, expenses, okay. Interest, and this is month 2, rinse and repeat. We can see at month 3, she's at $5,532.20, income coming out. We're adding the expenses, calculating for interest, rinse and repeat, and in just 5 short months. So between 2 loans, we were able to eliminate the second loan completely in 5 short months. So 10 months total to completely pay off her student loan. That's absolutely amazing. This strategy works, folks. It really, really works. It's about how you are borrowing and where you're putting your money first, how you're putting it to work for you, okay? So let's calculate this. 13 months for the car loans. Student loan number 1 was 5 months. Student loan number 2 was also 5 months. So you're looking at 23 months total to be completely out of debt. What I did is I went back and I calculated all the interest that she paid throughout that 23-month time frame, and we're looking at a total of $1,389.79 of total interest that was paid. That's absolutely phenomenal. The nice thing about that, she continues to retain the personal line of credit open, right? And basically, it is just another debt tool whenever she needs it. If she's ever in a bind, if she ever needs to borrow again, now she's no longer going to go to the bank and ask for a loan. She has her personal line of credit at her disposal. She can borrow and use it and apply the Velocity banking strategy whenever she wants. So that's another great benefit that she gets from this. So there you have it. In just 23 months, we were able to completely pay off her loans utilizing the personal line of credit. And that's the simplicity of the strategy. I know there's a lot of people saying how this is difficult, this is risky, but it really isn't. Everything is about how you borrow and where you're putting your money first. And if you need help with this strategy, I'd be more than happy to help you. You can see my information link below. And if you like the content, please continue to follow, like, share, make comments. Please give me feedback on how you like the information or what do you think I can do better. And I'll definitely do my best to continue to improve the service that I'm giving you. So until the next video, thanks for joining me, and I look forward to talking to you again.